for more on that series, let's hear from a player and Pastry Time, who's got an interview.
Thank you very much. I'm here with the support of EchoFox Gate. Gate, congratulations on an excellent weekend here for EchoFox. How are you feeling after such a great week one?
I'm feeling good. I wasn't earlier. I had a fever, but now, after we won 2-0, I feel much better.
Well, good to see you feeling a lot better. And of course, Gate, you're a man of many ingenious ideas last spring. We enjoyed your support, Camille. This time, support Sejuani. Is this something you've been playing with? Do you think it's good? Kind of, what was the inspiration behind the pick today?
Every time I go to Korea to boot camp, I always come back with some new toys. In Korea, they know me as the pig god. So now, this is one of my new pocket picks.
All right, so looking good there. And of course, on kind of practice for EchoFox, you guys have kind of a lot of different rumors, I almost want to say, about how you guys are practicing. Are you just playing a challenger team? Are you scrimming? What can you tell us about kind of the EchoFox preparation coming into the split and maybe how that's fed into how well you guys are doing early on?
Without saying too much, I think we have a 10-man roster, and we kind of just focus on our own practice. And beyond that, we just focus on one thing at a time, not too unlike other teams. So I wouldn't say our practice is much different.
Well, it's looking pretty good so far. And of course, my last question for you. Very interesting schedule for you guys next week, playing CLG and Cloud9. Of course, CLG looking very strong. C9, not the best week for them, but there's Cloud9. I'm sure they'll still be a tough opponent. What are your expectations for those matches? Do you think EchoFox can continue going undefeated for another week?
Well, I'm not too quite sure, but I think it'll definitely be a harder week than this, just because of matchups. But that being said, we're just gonna go into it the same as this week.
Well, it makes a lot of sense, Kate. Thank you very much. Congratulations on the weekend. EchoFox looking good. They were going to pass it back to the analyst desk to round out the day.
Thank you very much, Pastry Time. EchoFox joining our rank of 2-0 teams at the end of week one. Again, the whole picture of the NALCS has been flipped on its head from what spring delivered to us. But I'm just very pleased with the games put together by EchoFox, a team that we had always talked about suffering from inaction, inability to close even when they had leads, and only extending games to the point where it's a 6-item fight and then it's a 50-50. Whoever wins it wins the game. That's not at all what we're seeing here. 31-minute game one. This game sneaking in right around that 30-minute mark as well. Just complete domination.
Yeah, I think the thing, too, is it's not that different stylistically from what we've seen. A lot of these advantages are coming off the back of Froggen and Acadian. This time around, once again, they have the gank in the mid lane to get Froggen rolling after all the summoner trades came from Rainover's initial attempt. He also went topside, swayed the Kennen matchup in away from Jace's favor. And then once Gate kind of had more room to work on the map after that initial mistake in the bot lane, he also started getting involved in a lot of the kills as well. And then that's where they started to show their improvements.
Right, and if we're going to talk about the Sejuani pick, we did see, of course, it struggle a little bit in lane. CS deficit for the Xayah as a result of being pushed in consistently by Piglet and Matt, as well as giving up that single kill in the 2v2. But we saw the effectiveness of the Sejuani in roaming mid to push the advantages already created by Froggen and Acadian. 2 ganks/counter ganks into the mid lane by Gate to pick up kills.
And the initial death, it looked like they're going for all-ins with the Xayah plus the Sejuani, and maybe it works. It didn't look super strong in terms of the damage it was throwing out. Maybe not quite as strong of a kill lane, but like you said, once it gets out of laning phase, especially once the Sejuani unlocks her ultimate, she starts having crazy CC available to her, and that's when she starts making a mid laner's life very difficult when you're on a mobile mage like Cassiopeia.
And if we really want to go down the rabbit hole with this is the kind of thing that, as Pastry mentioned, we looked at the Camille support last split for Gate. Having a pick like this, just a single pocket pick in, for any given meta, does wonders in terms of developing, or rather freeing up strategies for your team in champion select. So now, from this point onward, every team has to consider the Sejuani support coming out of the bot lane, as opposed to going top or jungle or anywhere else.
If I have to be honest, probably still not going to get that much attention from other teams. It didn't look super dominant in lane, and then sure, it can punish an immobile mage with no summoners. A lot of things can do that if you're looking at a playmaking support.
Right. Yeah. This isn't to say that now it needs to be banned. By no means do I think the performance put up here says it needs to be banned. But again, if we first pick Sedge,
where's it going?
Where's it going,
exactly.
Right? It at least does that for you, is all I'm saying. Player of the game this time around, gonna go to Froggen, as, again, those advantages were created in the mid lane. Does a wonderful job avoiding the aggressive first gank from Team Liquid, and then, because of that, able to capitalize on the blown summoners from Slushie and return kill.
Talia, a strong laner. No surprise, Frog can coordinate ganks with his team and set up a lot of kills. The most impressive thing was the Talia ults out of lane, being able to secure like the bot inner turret as an example.
48% damage. Am I reading that right?
I missed that. That's a
right
big
there.
number.
Oh my! I didn't see. We didn't get that stat yet until just now. 48% of his team's damage in the win versus Team Liquid.
And that's not with low damage champions either. I mean, Kennen can do some damage.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, again, more props to Froggen and the way that he's at least kicked off his split. And while we talk about all the improvements that EchoFox has made and the 2-0 at the outset of the split, I think we also need to talk about the elephant in the room. Team Liquid and their roster and everything surrounding that. So let's work through this one beat at a time.
Sure.
With Golden Glue in the lineup in mid and Piglet at ADC, you're games away from relegation in spring split. You do what you need to do to survive from that, and you return to the summer split with that roster. Point one, I take issue with you returning to a new split with a roster that wasn't performing to begin with. Compounding on that, when after 1 day's worth of games, you sub out Golden Glue and put Slushie in, I take issue number 2, which is that if you're going to reinvest in the same roster, fully reinvest in that same roster and let it develop. Give them time to find their footing. Don't make the change right out the gate.
So there's a couple things. We never heard publicly anywhere, as far as I'm aware, that Team Liquid commented on why this roster move happened.
Exactly.
So maybe there's a personal reason. Maybe Golden Glue couldn't play today. He got sick. We have no idea what could have happened. But the initial opinion, the assumption that you would make is that this was a management decision. And if that is the case, then you do have to start wondering, why did you bring Golden Glue back? Was he just going to be, was it a dual mid system? Because they never announced that. They had the video they released, Squad, that video series that they have. And in that, they kind of talked about, we're believing in Golden Glue and he's going to be the guy. And hopefully this season is the one that works out.
Right.
And if you yank him after one game, why was that the messaging? Now your fans are confused. Everyone's upset about it, let alone the fact that, like you said, you're not initially happy with the roster. It's just this huge question mark about what is going on in this organization.
Yeah, I mean, so, hey, maybe we'll get some clarity over the coming days as to why the decision was made, and understanding that everything we just said is speculation, as there hasn't been an announcement from the team. But that's the point exactly. That as a fan, as a viewer, I'm sitting here and I'm wondering why Team Liquid is making the decisions or making the changes they're making, and I don't follow the logic. I'm left only to ruminate in my own brain as to why this could be, and I don't feel like the team is being set up for success organizationally at this point.
And to be fair to both Slushie and Golden Glue, I mean, you have to imagine, put yourself in their shoes, like, what is it like being Golden Glue? Do you think he's happy with the situation? I don't want to put any more weight on his shoulders because he didn't perform that well in Spring Split. You bring him back in Summer with nothing changing other than perhaps the meta and coaching staff a little bit. I don't want people to jump on his back.
I was going to say, let's also be clear, this is in no way an attempt to start a witch hunt for the two mid laners, because overall the 2 losses that the team sustained this weekend were entirely team losses. I wouldn't say that any of the losses rest on a single individual's shoulders at any point.
It seems like the team kind of rolls over and dies at the first mistake. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily, a mid problem, a shot calling problem. It's, Rainover died once early, and then in this game, Slushie gets counter-ganked once early, and then for the most part, everyone's kind of off doing their own thing, and there's just no synergy at all within this team.
Continued struggles for Team Liquid as they are on the outset of the summer split. Now, as we wrap up the weekend, it's time to recognize which players stood out above the rest with the most player of the game honors. Someday and Froggen end week 1 on top with 3 awards each, while both Aphromoo and Lyra walk away with 2 accolades to their name. I mean, the big ones that jump out at me here is, hey, not Froggen. Aphromoo returning to kind of his playmaking form that we weren't seeing so much in the spring split. And then Someday, again, the talk of the town coming into spring, and here he is in summer showing up.
Yeah, having a little bit more synergy that's pre-built. Obviously, Dignitas was put together pretty quickly at the start of spring split. And like you said with Afro, just the meta coming around and letting him grab a lot more. It wasn't just him missing some player of the games in spring split. A lot of supports were having a hard time racking those up when you're stuck on Karma, Lulu, Zyra.
Of course, we'll be tracking that throughout the season as a whole. Now let's take a look at the standings as we come out of week 1 of the summer split. I mean, not sure what the over-under was on these results, but our top 4 teams from the spring split are collectively 1-7, Mark. What's going on there?
You want me to tell you?
Yes, that's why I brought you on. You're the expert.
No one knows what's going on. If you wanted to tell me, yeah, Counter Logic Gaming is going to go 2-0 and maybe Cloud9 goes 0-2, sure. But to have all the teams struggling this hard with only TSM being the one to pick up a match win is insane, considering that when you looked at the start of this offseason, it didn't seem like that many roster changes were happening, some small coaching staff changes. So anyone who would have predicted this, it wasn't like this league is going to get totally shook up. I think there was even a concern it was going to be too similar to last split.
Strength of schedule and sample size in mind, what elements of that standings graphic are true and what are lying to me? In the sense of, like, what can I actually take from that in terms of, yeah, these 2-0 teams are actually really good versus, they just came away with victories, and which 0-2 teams do I need to worry about?
Yeah, so on the side of the 2-0 teams, like, you can say, you know, Echo Fox looked better, that kind of stuff, and I think they did look better, but in terms of being long-term threats over the course of the season, I'm still not sold on a couple of them. The one that I am, other than CLG, is Immortals. I thought their wins were not only over quality opponents, but the way that they won them, it was even game situations pretty often in the mid-game, not completely relying on snowballing like a lot of their wins came last season. So they've already changed their style, and it's already working out for them. It should be only upside from here. On the flip side, someone maybe a little concerned, the C9 situation, you will have impact back. I feel like that's a bit of a safety net where if you ever feel like you're slipping too far, put him back in, you'll still do good. You'll be a top half team in the league.
Yeah.
But are you getting overtaken by Immortals, CLG, TSM, and who else is going to come up?
All right, well, there you have it. We'll see who can stand out in our next week's games. We return on Friday with Arrow and Phoenix 1 versus Sneaky and Cloud9. So the schedules don't get any easier for those two squads, really.
Nope.
Then Immortals look to continue their Week 1 success against Team Envy later in the day. Now, throughout the weekend, you took to Twitter and called out your favorite LCS big plays. We pulled the best of the best highlights to showcase. Now, brought to you by Acer. First up, we've got Zerx Randstein, who writes, that Bard play by Aphromoo and Darshan, or on Darshan rather, proves why the shot-calling legend of CLG deserves to be in first-team LCS running every split. Take a look.
Dive still coming out. Lolo's still looking to go in, but needs a few more vitals. One more in. Fox is over, but a great Bard ultimate might save Darshan, and it will.
He actually parried the Bard, which is going to get a kill.
Afro gets the stun, portal through the wall, and takes down Lolo.
Afro, are you kidding me? The king is back.
I'm here with you, Trevor. Are you good?
Yep.
Coming. Nice. Oh, nice job.
You can go on right, watch.
Yo, Jin,
I'm coming to you.
Okay, hey, we can limit it on Jin. Okay, yeah.
One of those back-breaking plays where at that time the game's kind of even, you have the Fiora Shen, you might be snowballing, and out of nowhere, this kill gets snatched away from you and goes in the other team's direction. It's brutal to be Team Liquid in that situation.
Mentally devastating. Next up, we have JNTJSOR. Don't know what that stands for. He's glad he checked the VODs, rewatched Echo Fox versus FlyQuest Game 2. Man, that was crazy. I agree.
FlyQuest have managed to find one big kill, but now they've somehow got to retreat and not lose everything here. Turtle eating multiple arrows. Keys grabbing the kill onto High. A double kill, though, going the way of this AD carry. Moves forced to retreat. Gate drops. Looper and Keith alive. Next is down to 1/4 HP. Looper jumping right back in the fight. Buying Keith some time. And FlyQuest holds. Now,
run it down
Echo
mid.
Fox is running towards the base, but they have to kill an inhibitor as well.
Turtle.
While Turtle running a bit too close, taunted up, brought down. G still there.
trying to end the game.
Looper is still trying to hold this line.
Rocket's gonna
Rocket
go.
will go for the end of the game. Echo Fox trying to end. The Nexus has regenerated. They're going for that backline blitz. And Echo Fox find the win.
I mean, what a very exciting finish, and it's very cool to see it once again for Echo Fox, kind of this element of growth where that game ended at 36 minutes. This wasn't a 70-minute, oh, well, I guess we've tried everything else. We might as well rush down the mid lane and end the game. That was that was a planned and very well executed decision to go straight forward. Finally, we have Holland Duns, who said, what were we, or what? Let me start that one over. This is going to
Take two.
It got me. I even practiced this one before we got on there. Said what we were all thinking during the Immortals game today. Smithy with the top 10 anime betrayals. Take a look.
Sven does have his ult. He could run in for a smite steal.
Ghost isn't up. He would be walked in, but like you said, ult is there, so it won't really matter.
Oh, Björk!
He comes at Bjergsen, hardly taking any damage, but delivering across 3 members of Immortals. The front end burst is too much for Immortals to handle.
Bjergsen, we said he had to get creative. He got creative. Around the backside. Smithy even helps him in. Oh my God. Smithy delivers the dash that Bjergsen was lacking. AoE taunts the entire team. What a betrayal.
That's one of those plays where it's like the master trying to teach the students, like, always be on your guard. You never know what's going to go wrong.
Right.
Smithy comes in the team, teaches them how to do all this late game shot calling. He's like, but be ready at any
you're
point.
good? This could happen at any time. So
Yeah,
you
getting
better
you
be
ready
for
week
it.
1.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. We'll make sure to keep calling out those big plays all split long, and we'll share your tweets as we see them. That's going to do it for us today. So in a few minutes, meet myself, Zyrene, and Kobe out on the stage for NALCS tonight to recap the first weekend of the summer split. Stay tuned. Now, though, for myself, the cast's entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week for more NALCS.